Hello everyone, my name is Veritas, and welcome back to Destiny. This is going to be a different format video. This is a review of the April update, or the Taken Spring, as some have taken to calling it. So, my thoughts on the April update. When I first started playing it, I was worried. I was, genuinely, because I didn't much care for Prison of Elders back in year one. I don't think a lot of people did. And when they said, you know, the main... the meat of the pie is going to be Prison of Elders, I think some people were worried about it. You know, what could they possibly do? And you know, we're about a week into it so far, but we've sampled pretty much all of the content. They will be majorly different. Now it's just going to be like rotational. You know, next week's Nightfall will be different. The bosses will be different in Prison. The modifiers will be different. Things like that. But for the most part, we've experienced what the 41 prison's like, what the Challenge of Elders is like, the new Nightfall difficulty, you know, the story missions, Malak, the Blighted Chalice Strike, Dreadfang, you know, the new leveling system, Smart Loot. You know, the main points are there. You know, we've experienced, you know, the pictures have all been drawn. Now they're just going to be colored differently every week. So, with that being said, how is the April update, as someone who's played since beta, who has over 2,000 played hours in the game, over 4,000 total, as someone who loves Destiny, what is my opinion on it? It was good. It was a good update, and it was free. I've spent $20 on silver since the April update came out to buy some emotes. And I bought one treasure chest because, you know, when you buy increasingly amounts of silver, you get, you know, X amount for free. I got 300 for free or whatever. So I bought a crate with the excess and left the rest alone. Because I figured this DLC, if it were to be, you know, released as a purchasable item, I think it would be around $20, $15 maybe. But I figured I'd, you know, show them my appreciation for the content by, you know, giving them $20 for it. So on my end, at least, that's what I feel like it would be worth. You know, Taken King was $40. This had a lot of stuff in it. You know, I think it's a good price. So I've given them, you know, a couple bucks for it, just because I think it's fair. Now the story mission, if you've watched the videos, you know, I kind of cataloged every waking moment up to killing Malak. The first story mission was kind of a throwaway mission. It was more introducing, like, Malak and what he can do. Then you had to collect echoes. Then you had to collect some echoes, which was kind of a nuisance. But then the next story mission was essentially the Blighted Chalice Strike. You know, go hunt Malak down and end him before things get worse. And in my opinion, that strike is amazing. The strike is very fun. And I like how they reuse the areas. The way that they reuse the areas were creative, interesting. I like the strike a lot, actually. I might be biased because, you know, the first kill gave me the Hood of Malak legendary helmet for my hunter, but other than that, I think it's a good strike. Speaking of strikes, we have the Winter's Run strike and the Taken variant of it. I've played both equal amounts of times. And, you know, they brought it forward. They made some changes to the first waves of enemies. There used to be 3 rounds. I think it was Minotaurs, Hobgoblins, and Hydras. Now it just seems to be a shitload of Minotaurs and a shitload of Hobgoblins. So they altered that a bit. It's more Vex infected as it was before, more Fallen infected. So that's an interesting change. It kind of caught me off guard when, you know, there were so many enemies. And the Taken variant of it is fun. It's genuinely fun. The boss fight with Nixus, or who used to be Axor, but the boss fight with Nixus is enjoyable. It's interesting. It can be overwhelming at times, but it's a good balance of holy shit, there's a lot of stuff going on, and, you know, still holding true to, you know, there being good gunplay there. You know, it can get overwhelming, but if you're smart about it, it's fun. And that strike will drop the Stolen Will. I haven't gotten one of those yet because I've been putting my time elsewhere other than the heroic strikes, because you can do that. You know, the avenues for leveling up in this update are numerous. It's nice to be able to, kind of not feel like you have to play a certain way. I was running around on patrol and getting decent amount of reputation while I was working on Arms Day weapons, and I felt like I was, contributing, like back in year one when you'd have like your Nightfall buff. I felt like no matter what I was doing, be it patrol missions, strikes, playing in the prison, anything, I felt like everything I was doing was contributing to my overall character, whereas, in year 2 of Destiny, it felt like patrols were kind of like, if you were wasting your time if you weren't playing in certain arenas. If you weren't doing King's Fall, you weren't really, advancing. If you weren't doing heroic strikes, you weren't, advancing. And once you did the raid for the week, you were kind of done until next week, because if it didn't drop stuff off of challenge mode, you couldn't level up any other way, and, it just kind of made the game dull. But now it feels like you can do whatever you want. You can rerun the Nightfall for a large amounts of reputation. You can do the heroic strikes with the boosters and get a bunch of faction reputation, and Vanguard reputation. You can do Crucible. The packages are good. The Cryptarch packages are good. The 41 match-made prison is okay. The Taken variant of the match-made prison, by the way, is my favorite thing in the game right now. The music in that is amazing, but it's also very fun. I really like the Taken prison variant. I don't much care for the normal prison level 41, but the Taken version is definitely something that's like, if I had to put like a list of top 3 things in this DLC, it'd be like the Blighted Chalice Strike, the Taken prison, and then the Challenge of Elders. The Challenge of Elders I was soloing earlier a few times. It frustrates me that it isn't match made. It's easy. It says 320 light, and it doesn't feel as difficult as the Nightfall, and the Nightfall is 320, but also Nightfall has like epic and a bunch of other shit on it that that modifies it. But the Nightfall is difficult, it's challenging, but it's rewarding and it's fun because it's Blighted Chalice. It's a fun strike. The Challenge of Elders is fun. Having the score there, it's interesting, but it's also like the easiest way to get loot right now, because you can just run through it with 3 people and do it in 3 minutes and get a bunch of good loot. That has so far been my best source of loot. There are better sources than others, but all sources lead to the end. All paths lead to the same destination. So it's, I feel like I'm not wasting my time. I might be going on a slower path or maybe a more a busier path, but it's never not progression, and it's always decent. I do feel a little overwhelmed having 3 characters. I'm trying to decide if I want to wait until next reset to get my new Sterling Treasure boxes, see if I can get better rolls on armor, and then level those up. If I want to consolidate all my gear onto one character and get one guy to level 335 first and then work on my others, or if I want to kind of level them all up at the same time slowly. I'm trying to figure that out still. But the 1-to-1 infusion is also very nice. I keep getting stuff that's better than my old stuff, and it's nice to not have to worry about the numbers. If you have like a 310 class item or a 315 class item, and you get like a 324, it's like you don't have to worry about the numbers. You can just like put it in there. Like once you have the number you want, you can basically do whatever you want with it, and I like that. And I also feel like there are more legendary engrams dropping, and when you're decrypting with the Cryptarch, I feel like your engrams turn into a tier above what they're at more often. I've gotten more legendaries out of blues since the April update came out than I ever had before, but I've also gotten like 20 legendary engrams in like the first 2 days. It feels rewarding, and it is easier. It's more of a casual player's update. It definitely feels like you're given more for doing less, but maybe that's what Destiny needed right now. Maybe that's what it needed for now, at least until the next update comes out, when I'm sure they'll go back to, there being much more difficult things. Me running through the prison or the Challenge of Elders on my own this week won't fly next week, because next week won't have, primary burn or whatever, small arms. So, for now it's fun, and maybe Destiny needs to be easy for a little bit, just to make it fun again. Make it a little bit more fun. But, you know, doing the raid it can be rewarding because the gear can drop above yours, and it doesn't matter what you do. You can do raids, patrols, heroic strikes, the 2 prisons. You know, you can open packages, decrypt stuff. Everything you're doing kind of like works together, and I like that. So all in all, it's a good update. I like it a lot. So, you know, 10 out of 10 and all that good stuff. But that's gonna be it for me. What do you guys think about the April update? You know, is it living up to your expectations? You know, are you happy with it? Things like that. I don't touch Crucible or competitive multiplayer anymore because, you know, it's just, I don't enjoy it. The little bit of Crucible I have played since the April update came out feels like they reverted back to the old Crucible format. The Bungie has since denied that, but it still feels, you know, it still doesn't feel good. It feels worse than it did, you know, 2 weeks ago, but that's why I stay out of it, because Crucible's just a mess, and so is Trials, but they're not my cups of tea, so I don't bother with them, but to each their own. Anyway, so what do you guys think about the April update? You enjoyed it? Have you had fun with it? You know, what's your highest character at? Those kind of things. I'd like to know. I think my highest I can get to is like 325, 326 or something like that, but I'm leveling all 3 together. So it's definitely a slow experience, and I play alone most of the time, so trying to find people to play with is difficult, but yeah. So let me know what you guys think about it. I like it. I give it 2 thumbs up. But so yeah, that's gonna be it for me. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, a rating would be much appreciated. And until the next video, have a great day, everyone.